Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Come on and drop your name in the comment. Let us know who's listening, and if you can, go ahead and let us know that our levels are good. Everybody can hear us, okay? That will be great.
Hello. Testing. 1, 2,
Drop in the comments.
3, 4, 5. How does that thing go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Go ahead and drop
5,
that in
6,
there.
7, 8. 6, 7, 8. Hello. Oh, hey, Dion Lewis. Levels good. Thank you. Hi, LaQuisha. Good evening. Share. How do you say like, share, and subscribe? Hi, Mrs. Lisa, Jaleesa. Levels are good.
As you're coming on, go ahead and share, invite a friend in. Let them know that we're on. We've been having some great conversation. It's been really good, really good. And we're starting a new series tonight. So the way our platform works, we're gonna come on in just a minute. We just make sure you're inviting and sharing and all those good things. Inviting people in here.
How do you share?
We're getting our stuff together here because I got my show notes. So
no, you didn't forget the show notes.
Yeah, and I gotta have those because I'm not gonna know what I'm talking about. So
no, you don't.
Y'all give some feedback if y'all been enjoying the show and the topics and everything that we've been sharing with you all. Something that we were setting out to do for a long time, and we finally got it together, finally got it done. So,
praise God.
Glad about that.
Hello.
As you're jumping on, don't forget to drop where you're watching from. That would be helpful. Let us kind of know where everybody is looking from. Okay, I cannot.
You don't have your show notes? Not the iPad showing out.
Okay,
thank you, Dion. Dion says yes. She enjoys the topics and the podcast.
Thanks, Dion. Now, here's what we're excited, guys, that we have our website up. Isn't that exciting? We got a website up, so I'm gonna drop that on the screen so you all can run up.
Effect?
I don't have all that up yet.
Oh man!
You can literally. We're on. You literally can go to our website now. We actually have a website, and register. You can register for some of the things that we have coming up. We're planning a great event that we're looking forward to do at the beginning of the year, and we're going to do a live taping of the Clarity Lounge.
Woo-hoo.
So we're so excited about that.
A live taping of the Clarity Lounge. Hi, Tanya Vale. Listen, did you all enjoy last week with Miss Tanya Vale? Tanya, you have to add some. How can they reach out to you? Because I meant to ask you that because we've gotten a lot of requests. I think people think you have a coaching. You do coaching, mentoring. I know you do, but do you have a website they can go to? How can they reach out to Tanya Vale? I've been asked. So go ahead, Tanya, if you could drop that in the chat, or if you need to give it a minute, let us know. We can definitely share with the audience how to reach out to you.
Absolutely. And if you don't have nothing, we can get something together.
Yes, he'll build you a quick website.
Takes no time. But for those of you,
let's go back to before you move on. You were talking about the podcast live. What can they expect at the podcast?
So the podcast live, we are going to be dropping information, and also you can go in there, and it's going to be a quick reference to all the talks. We have little outlets.
No, that should be the Clarity Lounge.
No. Oh, I did it wrong. Okay, y'all. I did the thing wrong.
Pardon.
But you can go on there and see, hear little information about the special guests we have had on the past shows. And it's really nice.
But I'm saying, what can they expect if they show up to the Clarity
Oh,
Lounge
if you
live?
register,
If they
on the
register
Clarity Lounge
live, you
you're
were talking
the actual
about that.
event.
Yes, you were
I thought
talking
you were
about the
talking about- okay.
event in the first quarter of next year. The Clarity Lounge live. What can they expect?
So the Clarity Lounge live is going to be a live event, of course, and we'll be doing a recording, and we're going to have a number of guests that are going to be gracing the stage with us. Hey, Miss Vicky, they're going to be gracing the stage with us, and we're going to be talking about some relative topics, all things pertaining to life and godliness. That's our slogan, so we're going to keep it with that. But it's going to be a fun environment. I mean, we're going to have some breakout little dance hubs where you hear the music, you're going to dance, have some food and some different things like that. It's going to be a really nice event for those that come out and hang out with us. And it's going to be very empowering, very encouraging. And you're going to also get some word snacks, I'll say that, from what the Lord is saying and doing in our life. So definitely when we start posting that, that's something that you can find. You see the website on the bottom of the screen. You can go over there and register. You have to register to become a part, to get our newsletter and all that kind of stuff. And when you register for it, you'll get a special little something. I'm not going to tell you what that special little something is.
But it's not a pencil
because,
or a pen, right?
No, it's not a pencil or a pen.
A mug.
Not a mug.
Okay.
No, not anything like that. But it's something that you'll enjoy. I promise you. This is not something.
More journals.
No more journals.
Okay,
it's not something that you're going to re-gift. It's not that. No, we're not. I know. I'm pretty sure everybody on here could, not stand another coffee cup or a coffee mug or something like that.
Or another t-shirt.
But yeah, t-shirt too. But no, that's not what we're going to. So when you register and we have your information, we're going to send you something really, really great. Hey, Angel, what's going on, Angel?
Hello.
Tanya say that you can reach her. For those that want to reach out to Tanya, you could inbox her on Facebook, and she'd love to connect with you.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and
reach out. Hey, Lakeisha Dow. Yes, definitely. She enjoyed Tanya's message as well. So we're excited. We will have Tanya back on again. She comes with great demand and requests.
Yeah.
So we believe in bringing back the guests that you all most enjoy. So
absolutely.
And we have more guests coming to the front, though. Yep. Not today.
And you guys, it's not too late to invite somebody in. And this is what we're doing. Then we're going to get into our topic. I don't want to prolong the time. Here's the thing. We are trying to monetize our channel. And what that means is we want to make some money. So when you monetize, you have to have over 4,000 viewing hours. You have to have 1,000 subscribers. And I forget what the other thing is in order for us to monetize. So that's why we keep encouraging you all to like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell icon to know when we drop merchandise, new content. But you want to do that. So don't be afraid to share this with some friends that you might they might find this information valuable. Definitely share that with them. And
hi, Miss Vicky.
And get them on board.
Mother Neil's on. Hello. I'm here. She's on both sides. Mother Neil holding it down on both sides. Thank you.
All right, we get ready to jump into this, guys. And this is our new series for the month, How to Stop Comparing Yourself to Others.
Wow, that's
now,
big.
this is a big one, and this is going to be some good conversation over the course as we dive into this. And, this thought, I always tell this story, and I think I want to lead out with this because it's kind of a funny story, but Val remember the story. If you all have not ever had the opportunity to go to the Parade of Homes, and I know everybody on New Genesis, they probably just tell this story with me, but if you ever had an opportunity to go to the Parade of Homes, they used to host it. I don't even know if they still host that now, but it was something that they used to host where you would take tours of these phenomenal houses. When I tell you they were beautiful, I mean, these homes were interior design. They had all kind of bells and whistles. They were unbelievable, and they were humongous. So we had some friends, a couple of us would go out and we would take a look at these homes. And I mean, the ceiling, the drapery, the sofas. We went in this one, if you remember, it had its own dry cleaner, some kind of dry cleaning station in the bathroom. And when you talk about bathrooms, I mean, the primary suite, the bathroom was huge. And you have all this stuff. I mean, the curtain rods, was like this big around. It was just something to behold. And so when we would go in there, we were like, wow, look at all these things. And then we would get back to our house.
Now wait, before you go there, our house was fine because we
Yeah, our house
were
was
we were
fine.
newly married, you know,
Mhm.
starter home and all the things. And we were doing I mean, and for our starter home, we had it pretty
It was nice.
nice size house.
It
Like
wasn't
really, it
a
really
dump.
was. No, it wasn't no dump.
It was a nice house.
And interesting because most people know Andre, he's a great decorator and
Mhm.
interior designer. And so it was fine. Well, at least it was great to us before Parade of Homes.
Mhm.
Okay, so finish your story. I'm sorry.
Until we got back to our house, that was fine before we left,
That was fine before
and
we left.
we began to compare.
Yeah.
We begin to compare, and what that comparison, there's a coined phrase that says, comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of all joy. So in that moment, what was fine to us became different because we begin to compare our house to this humongous house that was millions of dollars, and we become, is it discontented? We were not content. Let's say that.
I mean,
we were not,
to not be content is
yeah,
to be discontent.
we were not content.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that if you have not experienced it, people go through it, and sometimes it's a very hard thing to deal with because you find yourself in a place that it upheaves your peace.
Right.
And I don't know if you've ever dealt with those things where you, maybe it could be with women, your size, your weight, your hair, your color, all of these things put you in a place of comparing yourself to something, and it robs you of your joy and your peace. Then the next thing you know, you're dissatisfied, you're disgruntled, and this thing is so serious, y'all. We see a lot of it today. It puts people in states of depression.
It does.
It really does, because these are questions that, if you can relate to this, drop a thumb up in the comment. It puts you in a place where you're wondering, like, well, what am I doing not to have that?
Right.
What am I? And don't let somebody do a testimony and they say how God blessed them with this and that and the other, and then you're like, okay, well, I've been praying for 37 years. Why I don't have that stuff? So it puts you in a place where you are totally disrupted in your peace.
Yes.
And it could be a number of things that cause that. What were you going to say? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and also to insert, I know, I've heard people say this. Well, no, I'm not comparing, it's just, these are goals that I have. And is it wrong when you see something that you say, hey, I just aspire to have like a bigger house, or I admire what I see? You understand what I'm saying? And so there is a differentiator. Now, if you go somewhere, and an example, we went there, we were admiring it and we thought it was beautiful. And it's not that we didn't have dream, to aspire more.
Mm-hmm.
But when it begins to interrupt your peace, and then you're not valuing your current state or just what you have right now, and it starts getting you disgruntled, discontent, and all of that, that's when you know it's not healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I've heard people say, well, no, I mean, it's nothing wrong. Like when you look up to something or someone and you say, wow, man, that looks awesome. I'd love to have that, or I wish for that, or I wouldn't mind desiring those things. Now, to a healthy balance. I'm not saying covetousness or envy, jealousy, and all the things we're going to talk about in a minute. But there is a fine line between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can admire, still celebrate and be glad and exceedingly joyous and say, man, one day, I desire to have, more space for my children. Like we always talk about a big yard space, our homes we didn't go into it with that thought in mind earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
But once we started having children, we knew that's it. We knew that's what we wanted to, one of our goals. And so when we would see big yard space, we're like, man, that's awesome. We desire that, but not from a place of discontentment, as if like we walk away and be like, look at our polar yard, and, start talking bad about the things that we currently have, right?
Yeah.
That's when it's unhealthy. Can we agree on that?
Right, absolutely. Okay. And I think that's what we want to point out tonight, because y'all, our platform, we always want to bring something that's going to be helpful.
Mhm.
We don't want to just get on here just be talking just to talk. We want to bring stuff that's going to be helpful or people can relate to. And it can be, like Valerie said, it could be a number of things. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. It could be how you show up or different things. And even people that are very confident, there are certain things that, they kind of hit in that space of comparison,
Yeah.
and like Valerie said, there's a healthy balance that we have to have where you're admiring someone, but it's not in the place of envy or
Not envy.
borderline jealousy.
Correct.
And that's when it becomes a problem when you begin to dismantle or discredit
discount or discredit
what that
what you
person
already
had.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll how that looks. We say stuff like, well, how they got that car?
Right.
Ooh, I know them. They ain't gonna keep us so many months because I know they ain't good with money. That type of stuff is things that we shouldn't say, because all of this is brought about because you compare yourself, and basically you're saying, I deserve that. And because I don't have it, then that individual, I know they don't have and make whatever it takes, but I'm the one. And that's in essence what we're saying. It takes a very strong, bold person to really admit and be truthful to themselves of why they do what they do.
And say what we say.
What we say. It's a big issue of soul searching. So this brings us to our first.
And Dion, we see your note here, your comment around comparing your ministry to others and end up believing that you're not worth, that I'm not worth of the ministry. Yep, depressing for sure. Yes. And I guarantee you're not alone, Dion. And we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. And thank you for your transparency.
Because you ask yourself then, in that area of comparison, and this is a question for everybody, who sets the bar? You know what I'm saying? Like who really sets the standard of this is the level that you must achieve? And that's what's so dangerous about it. Because a lot of times it's okay to admire somebody, but when you begin to compare yourself, like if like, oh, Val got good hair, it probably ain't even real, and that's what people would say. And it's like, I've set the standard that good hair to me is classified and determined now by Valerie's hair. Can y'all see that? So now comparison causes limitation. It gives you limiting the beliefs.
Yeah.
Because you honestly believe that that's the standard that's been set. And then you frustrate yourself trying to live up to that. And we see that a lot, even if it's not an individual. Yeah, and y'all come on, this is a truthful moment. Let's be truthful. When you swiping on Instagram and all those places, this is something that is a societal issue. Everybody is going through it. It's so many people experience depression and frustration right now because something they saw on Instagram, and it's like, I'm not saying everybody's like that. Trust me, I'm not saying that. But majority of the time, these people, they got the house perfect and all that kind of stuff. And we look at that and dream like, wow. And then you see somebody on Instagram, the husband cooking and cleaning and all this kind of stuff and all cut up. And this one get me. I'm like, please, it get on my nerve. They got this trend going around that the men, they cooking for the wives, but they in a little apron and they all muscled up. Who does that? Really?
Well, here's the thing.
Who does that stuff?
Well, here's the thing. There may be some truth to that. There might be a man or two or three out there that's cooking for their wives with no shirts on and apron. But that's their reality. That's them, if it is so. But now, if that just doesn't work for you and you're not quite if you're not a great cook, or if you don't quite show up that way, then that's just not what you need to spend your time
I don't like it because
or compare yourself to do.
I don't want to see his muscles.
Well,
and they get on my nerves, so I block their whole channel. I block the whole channel. I don't want to see. I'm like, I didn't come here.
Okay, so wait.
I want to see if you're gonna do pillars, do pillars. Why you got to come up here with your little chef thing on to my juicing naturally, but muscles and tricep stuff? I don't care to see that. Cover that up, sir. Put on a sweater, a blanket, or something. Most people cook in a t-shirt. So it's like literally, I compare myself because I'm sick of him. I've been trying.
So what? Your resolve.
I've been trying to get an ab. I just want one ab, and then this joker standing up here cooking, and everything. Kitchen is perfect, And it stirs up stuff in me. And I'm like, I'm going to the gym next week.
Okay, so for you probably don't need to be on Instagram because it's see, that's one of those stirring up
discontent. Because I got to keep
stirring up discontentment because you're trying to now measure up, and you know that's not your niche because you love chicken way too much. So I don't know when you're gonna be looking like him, eating chicken the way you do, and God knows, love you the way you are. I'm just saying.
No, I understand.
And it doesn't, and it that's just not the reality for us
that we're making is unrealistic.
And if you can't handle it, they say get out the kitchen, get off of social media because but that's a real thing. We make it comical, but that's exactly now for me. If I'm watching on there, I remember I call myself you all because everybody's doing to wash these vegetables and fruits. Now I've been eating fruits and vegetables. Now I do rinse them, but I didn't do the whole apple cider vinegar with the baking soda. Compartmentalizing them in the fridge, all the little containers. So y'all, I took on this project that I was going to try to do that. Well, that lasted all of maybe not even a whole week. Because I said, this is too much work. Put them things in the, the fruit in the strainer. Let's rinse them off. And I'm fine. I understand all the health kick folks and whatever with the, all the, pesticides and all, everything we eat probably got something in it. But it wasn't realistic because I'm like, oh, that looks beautiful. Let me try this. That was not realistic for me.
Not at all.
Not realistic.
And I think
I said, let me stay in my lane and do it.
Yeah.
And do it the way I do it. But anyhow, yes.
But it is funny, y'all. It's comical and we're saying it, but it's the truth because what happened, we go and buy up all this stuff. Come on, ladies, tell the truth. I've seen them women get on there. And this one girl, she had on the Body Shaper or something. And that girl pulled that thing up and the stomach went away. So it's like, now it's a different from admiring and then you're envying, putting yourself and spend up all this money and stuff. But let me get back on topic where we're talking about.
Because while we make it comical, many of us right now are not operating or being who we really are because we don't feel we measure up. We're enough and we're comparing to the things, especially in a world where social media is selling us in some regards, and a lot of regards, a distorted reality of what people are really experiencing. Now, you have to understand granted, there is some truth to it. I'm not saying everybody on social media is being dishonest, but I will say this. Everything you see on there is not always as it truly, honestly appears. Because one, you got all the filters and all these things that I'm seeing, and most of us, God bless us, that's definitely when we see each other face to face, that is not the same picture. Or some people, we take, sometimes it's about 4 to 5 takes and pictures to get the right angle, the right view, capturing the right, just the right visual background and all the things that we do to make sure that we present a beautiful picture to the world. But in fact, that's not even our true reality. And then you have people scanning and watching. And I have seen this, y'all. We've counseled a lot of people and even just people in the workplaces and things like that will sit here and get very, very discontent and depressed about the things that they're seeing on social media and desiring and wishing for it, not from a healthy space, but from a, wow, especially my world is not. Time. Yeah.
Christmas time, the whole pajama thing. Oh, that wrecks people. The whole is nothing wrong with it. And then we lose
sight of what we really do have. That's probably just as much as a blessing, and it's honest and it's true.
It is,
and pure. But it's like we omit those things because we're trying to measure up and paint this picture or fit into this image that's been going around via social media. But anyhow, I know we want to get back.
No, it's fine because we're just growing the conversation, making it organic. But I want to point this out. It's not in our notes, but I just am impressed to go here. This is why it's so important. One of the first defenses against comparison is one being happy with your authentic self.
Yes.
Now, I want that to sit for a minute. I want us to think about that. Be happy with the authentic you. Now, in order to be happy with the authentic you first got to know what you're made out of.
Yeah.
And I think that's a journey that a lot of people, even some people that are very confident, like my sister Angel on here. Angel's always, ever since I've known her, been very confident. And so that might not be an issue with her, but one of the reasons what we can draw from that, the reason why she's down in that place, because she knows who she is authentically, and it's either you accept it or leave it. And I think that's one of the things that people, we don't really want to deal with. And I believe in getting to the heart of the matter. You got to ask yourself, what is hindering you from living? And I hate to say this word because it's so trendy now. Living in your truth.
Living in your truth.
Yeah. What defines your truth? And it's so true because you got to understand who you are. And when you become comfortable with that person, then it helps you set up everybody else to receive you. But if you don't know who the heck you are and you get frustrated with other people, it's because you haven't told them, or you don't have a full understanding of what you bring to the table,
right?
What's your superpower, what's your strengths, what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah.
And I think one of the,
which make up your identity. And your self-worth.
Right.
And when we don't know that, this is why we lean into trying to compare towards everything else, and don't feel like what we have and what we possess and what we bring, whether our gifts, our talents, our characteristics, the things that make us who we are, we don't feel like we're enough.
Yeah.
Because part of it is we also look at the response to these things, because you wonder, well, like he talked about, like, okay, Pastor Andre, he can sing and he sings well, and I can't sing or do certain things the way he does. It's because then we're starting to compare, because we believe people, it's the response that you get, not knowing the hard work you put in, not knowing the training that you may have had. And some are just natural gifts and talents, but you each possess some natural gift and talent. What do you bring? What's in your hand? What do you bring?
Like
to this world?
What's in your wallet?
Yeah. So, and everybody has something. So tap into you and what you possess and what you bring, versus trying to compare to what others bring.
Yeah.
And when you looking at a response of things, when you're your authentic self, people will receive you just as well. It's when we're trying to fake it. And as we go back to that word, become imposters.
Right.
It don't serve us well. No. So then we're not going to get the response, because we're not really standing in our true selves, right?
It doesn't serve us well, and it doesn't serve others well because we don't know who we are. And you'll find that it's not restricted to an age. It's not just young people that are insecure and don't know who they are. It could be people 50, 60-year-old that a lot of things that they do is because they don't understand their identity and their worth. Or if they do understand it, here's a bomb moment: be comfortable with it.
Right.
Be satisfied with who you are, because one of the I'll say counterproductive agents of comparison is being happy with who you are. For the longest time, y'all know I'm full of stories. I hated my gap. For those who don't know, I got a gap. I hated my gap. I could not understand why I had to have a gap. I didn't like the gap, because those of you that are, I don't know, everybody might know this, but who remembers what's the negative connotation associated with people with gaps in their teeth? Y'all type it in the comments. For those that know.
You don't know how to whistle?
No, let them know. It ain't no about no whistle. We're going to see who knows this. There was a negative connotation about people that had gaps in their mouth. There was something that they were saying. Who knows? Type it in the comments. But anyway, I hate it.
They're liars.
Right. That's Taj got it. That they're big liars. Yeah, then you say that they're big. So I hated it, because you meet somebody and you meet people with no filters. Oh, you got a gap in your teeth. I know you're a big liar and all that kind. And that was not. So I hated that. And I always say, if I could get something done to my mouth, there's two things I would do, because I compared myself to other people. And I saw my buddy on here. I don't even know if he, Jason Tyler, I don't even know if he knew this, but I've always wanted big calves. Y'all, this is a vulnerable moment. A big calves, and I wanted that taken care of. So I said, if I had money, I'd get that beautiful smile with that gap closed, and I'd get me some calves. Now, how did I derive to that? How did I get to that point? Watch this. Perception of other people, perception of what had been said that was not a truth, it wasn't factual, is what people assume and associated with those things. So what it did, because I compared myself to other things and even words that had been said, I made that the measurement I deflated because I felt like I didn't add up enough. Is that making sense, y'all?
Yeah.
So we have to be comfortable with ourselves. And I'll tell you this, it's a journey.
It is.
It's not easy being comfortable in liking who you are, what you are. You might be dark skinned, you might be bright skinned, you might be, different things. And I know a number of friends, people would do things to poke fun at them, and it made them feel insecure because they compared themselves to what should have been or what was supposed to be standard by other people. Y'all know what we're talking about. Kids can be very cruel when you're growing up. And
wait, before you go further, I want to go back to when you talked about like wanting the big calves. Now I understand when you said the gap. And funny, we both got gaps, and two of our children have gaps. Siobhan and Zachary. We just the Gap Band all together. But hey, we love it. We love it.
We Gap Band.
Why calves though? What did you associate with big calves? What did you hear that you felt big calves was the thing?
Because people used to always say I have scrawny legs. I would always hear that. Your legs are little chicken legs and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So again, in my head, I'm associating that because I'm comparing myself. Well, my legs are skinny, but the guy in the sports magazine got the big calves and stuff, and I would see those things like, that's what I need because that's what I need to fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I'll be accepted or I'll fit in if I get this or if I have this or if I do this. And it's simply not true.
Yeah.
Because when you set your standards by what people feel and say about you, the same way they say that ain't the style today, they'll change it. Y'all ever seen The Wiz? If you've seen The Wiz, and y'all remember when they get to the Emerald City, I think it's on The Wiz. And so he says today's color is green, and they start dance green, and they just stand. And he said the colors now red, and the gold is old. Now it's this, and it just kept changing and changing and changing. When you're not secure in your identity, you become a chameleon.
Yeah.
And you begin to accept and attach to things that are really not you, but you feel that's what is going to cause you to be accepted. So a lot of time, comparison, the stem of it, and we don't like to admit to this, it houses validation and being accepted.
Yeah.
That's why we do a lot of things we do. We want to be accepted. We want to be validated. We want to, because that seems like it's the end thing, that seems like it's the happening thing, which explains a lot of time why people can't just get a car. They got to go get a Tesla. You know what I'm saying?
And
I'm not saying everybody, not everybody.
And at times, just acting in a way or presenting ourselves in a way that doesn't even align with our character.
Right. Yeah.
Because I can remember trying to fit in things, and I'm sitting here like, that is not you, Val. That is not you. In so many different atmospheres, and even I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I love, first ladies, and I love what they represent and the style and all the, just the fashion. But there is a point that certain styles just did not fit me. And I remember the St. John era was in, and people kept saying, you got to get St. John. Well, I honestly didn't like the knit. I felt it didn't, it wasn't complimentary to my body type. And so it didn't look good. I mean, and furthermore, I know it's a quiet guy. This is not, if Mr. St. John watching, this has nothing to do with that quality. I love design. I think it's beautiful, but that particular one just didn't suit me well. And then here I'm but I felt that's what I needed to try to do in order to fit in with the stereotype of first ladies.
First ladies, yeah.
But then I became very discontent. I'm like, this is just not me, And so I've gotten a lot of scrutiny and persecution, and my husband can tell you, because of certain things that I just went against the grain of, like, if it just doesn't fit my character, and it has nothing to do with not honoring God, because I'm gonna be modest and cover up and all those things, but I can't do it trying to fit into this group or this era of trend that just doesn't suit me well. And there were times that it was hurtful because I didn't feel like I would be invited to things because I didn't want to get into that, and based on just the words, just some of the response that I would get, things that were spoken said to me because of it. And I'm thinking all because of certain hats and clothes that I won't wear. I'm like, what about my heart's intent? What about my just who I am, just getting to know me, just allowing me to just be me, because that's gonna be the best me to serve y'all anyway. But it was tough, y'all. And so again, just thinking, how do I fit in? How do I compare to other first ladies? And I thank God he's had to work and get me healed in that space, because I tell you, if not, I'd be a lost soul, because it was like trying this out, trying this style out, and all kind of things. Like, Val, just be who you are.
And I think, because we got to put scripture on everything. Paul said it best. He said, whether I'm abased or abound, I have learned to be content.
That key word, learn.
Learn. Yeah. That's the secret weapon. And learn lets us know that it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, because there's some things everybody might dislike about themselves, or maybe is not necessarily imperfection. Maybe somebody hate because they too fine. I don't know, but I'm just saying, maybe so they just
fine, like blow your mind.
Yeah, maybe they're just too fine, blow your mind, bad mamma jamma, all that stuff. Maybe just too much. Yeah, and it's a curse. But however, one of the things that we want to really push tonight, that we want you to get, that the power that you have against comparison, so you won't stay in that place, is understanding your values.
Your value, your self-worth.
Understand your value in your self-worth, because when you live in that moment, authentic and true who you are, then it's going to set you in a place that certain things that you allow in your environment, you won't tolerate. Because one of the things that comparison does, it deflates you. And I think somebody said this on it. It makes you feel unworthy or inadequate, like you don't add up to a certain standard. And that's kind of the temperament that you walk with. So drop in the comment section real quick, y'all, a value. Just put maybe one or two of value that you hold dear. That's really like top for you. That's in the authenticity of who you are. What's one or two values that are very important to you? And for those that, and I always give this illustration or example, for those that know, values are things that you hold close to your heart, that you operate, and it defines who you are. Like, for example, loyalty is number one with me. Loyalty is number one with me. Some people, like I said, they like, okay, hey, Rhonda, how are you? What's going on? She said respectful communication. That's a big one. That's a big one. I want to, y'all keep them coming. I want to see these, and then we're going to talk about how these play a part in unlatching, if there's such a word I could use, the comparison. How do we get away from that? Now that we define it, what are some things that we can do to get away from it? And even if you're confident in yourself, you'll kind of, find yourself in that space. Loyalty, respect, and honor. That's a good one. Trustworthiness.
That's good.
Integrity. Those are all good, y'all.
Keeping your word.
Keeping your word. Treat others how you want to be treated. That's a big one there. So you see all of these things. Honesty, definitely, absolutely. Hey, Willie, what's going on, sir? God bless. So those things you find out in the makeup of an individual, and this is actually an exercise I take people through when I do clarity coaching. I help them navigate and find their value.
Trust and respect. Yeah.
Somebody said trust and respect. Now, how did this play a part in you authentically being you? Angel said respect. How do these play a part in you authentically being you? And this takes some time to really navigate and learn, because some people have to really dig and find that. For me, believe it or not, and again, this is a transparent moment. Valerie and I had a season where we were dealing with some things, and they were some heavy hitters. I'll say that. Both of us had decided to basically split ways. That was on the table. But in that time, y'all, I realized some of the stuff I really like. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, because I would never put my wife on a platform like this to dishonor her. I won't do that. But what I want you to understand is what I'm saying. Excuse me.
You don't got your
No, I don't have my mug.
peanut cup mug.
In that moment, because we were apart, I start to imagining life. And I think somebody said this, what life would be without my wife. And y'all hear what I'm saying? This was not I'm not doing this in a mean way. So in that moment, and she and I had a conversation like this, I had to really ask, what the heck do I like?
Right.
And it was an aha moment for me. So even in that time of us having turbulence, it was an eye-opening moment for me, because I'm like, okay, what do I like? What do I really like to eat? Where do I like to go on vacation? And it was a defining moment for me, because everything that I felt I was doing, because I want to be a good husband, I was like, okay, whatever you want. You want to eat Chinese tonight? That's what we'll eat. But it put me in a place that it was a self-defining moment, y'all, that I find out a lot about myself. And here's the kicker. Most people who knew me as the old Andre, they started saying I was changing. And I was evolving and becoming comfortable in the authentic me. It was like I was okay. I was loving my color. And I fell in love with my gap. I understood that I had big hands and all that kind of stuff. So every part about me, I had to take an assessment and understand that it's okay. Before you can really invite people into your environment, your relationship, and different things like that, and have healthy, you gotta understand who the heck you are, and that's the first killer of comparison.
That's good.
That's the first thing that would kill comparison.
But honestly, we both had to get to that point, because when you come into this ain't a marriage seminar, we'll get to this, but a lot of times there's things that we aren't really being our true selves yet. You're
Authentic.
learning, and then too, there's things changing. You know what I mean? But trying to be true and authentic, and then you start seeing this. It's funny, because we used to joke. You see these couples on TV and how life is supposed to be as a married couple. You start comparing to what it's supposed to look like, but it was like, this isn't what this is looking like for us.
Right? Like, why you never take me there?
Yeah,
why you never do that for me?
This is not what this is looking like, and so we had to really soul search. But interesting enough, same as him, there was turbulence, because we had to figure out really what it is that we were either trying to compare to, but bring it back to who are we and what do we need for our marriage, And so I think when you're saying that, I remember that of course I remember it, but those times where we both had to soul search and really start talking through, well, what is it? What's important to you? What's important to me? And then how do we bring that together to make sure that we're making this work outside of who we're looking at, outside of who we're trying to compare ourselves to? What do we need to do to make sure that our relationship is true and authentic? And so, and that takes time. There was a process. And of course, you have to have a willingness to want to do that as well.
And it's not just romantically in relationship. And you all are dropping some really good comments. Rhonda said, your words matter. Make sure you're communicating what's important or needed in family and in or friendship. Fake folks can look through the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. What about? And that's so true, because you got it. But before you can do that, understanding yourself and what you like. That's it. You gotta, y'all, and this is so liberating. It's hard to do, but it's liberating when you understand that. And we're not talking about you serve from a selfish place, like this is what I want to do, this is what we're gonna do. No. And like I said, it's not just romantically, it's with any friendship. It could be on your job. Do you understand enough about you to say what you like? Because this is what I found out when we're talking about just comparison and navigating from that place and being free and killing comparison and authentically understanding who you are. Here's something that's going to probably shake people up, but I'm going to say it. Some of us, when you ask people, are you, it's trendy now to say you're introverted or extroverted. And what I found out, a lot of people are not introverts. They're really not. When you really get to talking to them, something has happened in their life, traumatic, that has shut them down. So their introvertedness is really a deflection of a protective mode. They're operating in a protective mode because what they're actually saying is, I'm afraid to engage in conversation because somebody hurt me at a great magnitude before. So I don't want to allow myself that go or that permission to get in that space again. And I know we hear that a lot and it seems trendy, but that's true. And inside there's like a tug of war because you want to do these things and you keep comparing like why you're not good enough when you just have to be. That's good, Quisha, lack of confidence. So you have to allow yourself that time to build yourself up. And here's the thing, I don't care who says it to you until you are convinced yourself it's only words. You don't, it's not gonna even resonate with you. You want to read that one?
Clear, concise communication. No one knows what you're feeling unless you voice it. Each season requires a different version of you. Yes.
That's good. I like that.
I think was that
Miss Lisa?
I think it was Jaleesa. Yeah.
I like that. That's good. Each season requires a different voice. And you have to learn to navigate through that, or you'll find yourself in that wheel of comparison and you'll be stuck. Comparison slows you down. It puts you in a place and you become unable to move.
Yeah.
Because again, like we said, you allow yourself, because you compared yourself to other people, that becomes your standard. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I could never pray like Valerie. She's a real prayer warrior. That's now become your standard. Oh, I could never. Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's just so hard for me because every time I see Quisha write, my handwriting is nothing like that. You've just capped off. That's now your standard.
So what I hear you saying is how comparison even hinders us from progressing forward. Absolutely. Or walking into, maybe we talked about this earlier in one of the podcasts earlier around your purpose and getting clear on what you bring, you know, because we're comparing and we don't feel we measured up. And how many can raise hands to say some things maybe you've been asked to do, desired to do, want to do, but then once you've seen a couple people do it and you felt like, oh, they got all the likes and the love, now you fall back because you don't say, well, no, I don't think, and we'll discount it in a quick minute. Yeah, that's just not my space. That's not my niche. And it's like, but I thought that's what you most enjoy doing. How did it not become your desire, your thing now? What did you, and it's almost like, what did you see? And we always ask people that, what did you see or what did you hear or what has been spoken that all of a sudden you go from this place of being excited about doing something and being something and showing up a certain way to now you fall back.
Right.
You know, and then you stay in the space of falling back because you think you don't measure up. And that is comparison.
Right. That's what it is.
And then from there, it leads to some of the other things because we do know comparison has some great risk, you all. You know, it does lead into depression at times for some of us. For others of us, it could be envy and jealousy, and it will show up, y'all. We may not want to admit it, but it's there. You know, we talked about the lack of confidence, and I think abandonment of task. You know, then we get into the other space where we start, you know, poking fun at the others. And I use the word poking fun, but now we're deflecting, and comparison will cause you to kill someone else's credibility. You know,
they ain't that good now.
Now you want to speak against everything.
Y'all just get carried away. Oh, it wasn't that good to me. You know?
Well, I don't say she ain't that cute. He ain't that great.
Well, that's who y'all were talking about.
It makes you kill someone's character.
Yeah.
You know, it stops you from wanting to celebrate with other people. Like in this example, I laugh because just a quick story. Pastor was telling me about, am I supposed to call Dre? Okay, I'm sorry. This is Dre's platform. And he was saying how many views we got. And I say, oh, well, I only saw this, like a number, it was 20 or 30 on there. I said, I thought that was on like 30 people watching. He said, no, what you have to understand, they may not, I guess, log in a certain way, but people can watch almost like from afar. And I'm like, well, why don't they just tune all the way in, you know? But it's interesting. So I'm like, so there's people, I use the word sneaking. I'm like, so they're sneaking and watching us. I thought that was funny because I'm like, you know, sometimes where we are, we just in comparison, or just where we are when we lack confidence, or we don't want to celebrate with others. you know, it's interesting that we won't just show up and just be a part, like, you know. And so I'm like, that's interesting. I was like, well, who knows who's watching, but God bless whoever, because I'm like, for whatever it's worth, like, we just want to bless you, and to God be the glory. So I just said, okay, well, we keeping up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Joneses, right?
Yeah, comparison. That was my other point. I was gonna say comparison will make you spend some money that some of us don't even have. Driving cars and living in spaces and houses and things. And I'm not trying to knock anybody's blessings and where the Lord has blessed you, but some of us know we've only done that. We were fine up until we went to the Parade of Homes.
Yeah.
That now we gotta, this just ain't good enough. You know, I need to upgrade, and that's another term: upgrade.
Or if you have to go to a party or something. Like, let's say you go to a party and you know certain people are going to be there.
Oh, that you're
not going to go to Dillard's outlet. No. You're going to have something made, special, tailored, all that kind of stuff, collected monies and change and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to wear the regular shoes. Why? Because you compare, like, so-and-so going to be there, this is going to be there. I gotta fit in. There's that word again. You gotta fit in. You gotta play part. So it's not just y'all. A lot of time we look at it just in ministry, but it's not just in ministry.
It's across the board.
It's across the board. It could be simple as who brought the potato salad. For Thanksgiving. Come on, y'all know it's
because
true.
We want, and then and then the last thing that comes to mind when we talk about what comparison does. It goes back to last week we talked about communities. No, that was Tanya with the change. But prior to that, we talked about communities and building the importance of building community. Some of us won't because of comparison. We refuse to be a part, and we'll forfeit because, again, either we don't measure up or sometimes it's a flip side. Now let's think about that. Sometimes it's not that we don't measure up. Some people don't measure up to us.
Right. Yeah. No, that's
you
good.
Understand what I'm saying? Sometimes we compare in the sense of, well, no, I don't hang with them type of people. Well, because what is them type of people?
Yeah, but you it's so good. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's so good because I went through a lot of that too, where people would call me stuck up. Because I had a certain and it was amazing to me because I was so insecure, but people would say it's just what you're saying, because I carried myself a certain way. Folk didn't want to interact with me because they compare. Oh, now because you know he this that, and I was nothing like that. You know, certain stores I shopped at. You remember this is a funny story, y'all. I tell you we're full of it, but there was a group of our friends, and there was this certain store that I'd like to shop at before Signatures.
Oh, yeah.
And it was when the Florida Mall first opened up, and it was kind of high-end store. And Angel on here, she remember.
It wasn't kinda. It was high-end.
She used to pick at me. My sister Angel, he'll tell the shirt with the big sleeves. So I paid a little money for my clothes, but because people didn't understand that's what I like to do, they would compare themselves. Take all that. Somebody's stupid to go and pay that money for that, the clothes. I wasn't doing it to be or for nobody. That's what I like to do. So like Val said, you flip it around and people do it the same way. So you have to it leads back to whichever way you look at it. You got to know who you are.
You got to know who you are.
You got to know who you are and make sure it's not from a malicious intent. Make sure that you're doing it wholesomely. Anybody who know me, know Andre, for real, I love to dress. I love fashionable clothes. I've been doing that ever since, like I said, those who really know me, they know that. I've been doing all kind of weird clothes and things. I've been doing that for a while. So it wasn't to put myself in a place to be more than people, but sometimes folk, and we serve it up this way, some people can't handle your excellence.
Yeah.
Some people can't handle your excellence. So
because they're not secured in where they are, or they're not healed in a certain area. And they don't know how to celebrate and honor and leverage what you bring and how we can be kingdom partners together. Now we're going to tie this into, we're going to bring this home in terms of from a spiritual, because, everything is God-centered here, but God designed everybody with something amazing on this earth to do and to bring and to be, we have purpose. And it's interesting because some of us won't work together. We got 1,000 churches, 1,000 programs, 1,000 women's events, 1,000 men events, and all these things. And I'm not saying everybody's doing this for the sake of comparison, but sometimes we won't acknowledge and support because of comparison.
Yeah,
Seriously.
we think we don't show up big.
We don't show up big, or they're not showing up big enough for me. You
Right,
understand?
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, let's just leverage each other. And it blesses my heart when we can work with people that just know, hey, this is what I bring to the table. This is what you bring to the table. Together, we can make something amazing happen and bless the people.
Right.
And serve people.
Serve people.
You know,
well.
and that it's awesome. But the ugly reality is that there's a lot of comparison happening right now. And then we're looking for validation. We say it's not, but it does. I mean, we get upset if someone's liking somebody's, giving more compliment to one person than the other, or us, or however. And it does make us some kind of way. If we all have felt it, I understand it, but it's like, search your heart. Where is that coming from?
Right.
Because when you know who you are and what you possess and what you bring, your gifts, your talents, and what your makeup is, then you will know how to still sit in the presence of another woman, or another man, or someone that's doing the same thing you're doing, and say, and be able to honestly, from the pureness of your heart, celebrate them, the gift that they bring, the oil that's on their life, and do it for real. And it pains me because some of us sit there and we think we're doing a good job masking it, and you don't understand, especially if you're dealing with people that are prophetic and in the spirit. You can sense everything about your presence is not saying that I'm happy here. Everything about what you're presenting is envy and jealous and depressed, and just, and it hurts because that's not how God intended. This is what happened with Cain and Abel. This is what happened Saul to David when they talked about, he slayed, your thousand and David at 10,000, and he immediately gets mad. Now he's on a quest because of David's continued his success, his unparalleled success that he had in the things he done. And it's like, hey, don't be upset about where someone is. Find out how you can leverage it. And that's when we started this conversation off, where is it healthy or is it unhealthy? Are you really looking up to somebody from a space of, I would like them to mentor me, I want to learn from them, that's where I want to be one day? Not them directly, but you aspire to do things and you have inspiration. I get it. But if it puts you in a space of being ugly and discontentment, and it's unhealthy, then that is a problem. You got to check yourself.
So then, I was thinking about when you said, and that's so good, that is so true. What does this confidence look like?
Yeah.
What does healthy confidence look like? And that's what we have to answer when we're talking about comparison. One of the reasons that you won't compare and you admire is because you're confident.
Right.
Oh, Val, I like your earrings. Those are nice, and you're fine.
And good with that.
And this is something I want to throw in here. We almost at time, y'all, if y'all can believe that. How many y'all been enjoying the show? Give us thumbs up if you're enjoying the talk tonight.
They don't want you to say we at time yet.
I know, we're almost done. But I wanted to say this, and this is something I used to do, y'all. I got so many life experiences. And if you can bear witness to this when I tell this story, y'all give me a thumbs up with this as well. But what I would do, I call it shrinking.
Or dimming your light. Some people would say that, dimming your light.
So if I got in a room with somebody, I'll never forget this time. I went to, it was a young ministers meeting for Central Florida, and somebody had invited me to the young ministers meeting, and it was for youth. They were youth ministers. And I went in there. I was so excited, y'all. I was so excited to even be a part. I was so glad I had an invitation to it. Didn't really know what to expect. I just know the people that invited me, they didn't do nothing half but. So I was so excited to go, and went there. They had refreshments for us. They had like a nice little reception boardroom. And so, I was all right. I never was one to engage a lot in conversation, was because one of the reasons was because I compared myself to everybody. Well, if I say that, what it's going to sound like? What did you do? So all of this stuff going in my head. So I remember everybody. So if you've ever been in any type of social events, I always give Val kudos, because Val is a good mixer, conversationalist. She can mix in conversations. So I was in there, and the room began to stir, and people are talking, and everybody's, hey man, where you? I'm the youth pastor over XYZ. I'm flying doing youth revivals here. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like I took a deep swallow, like, okay. Instantly, y'all, I'm moving now slowly around the room. Hey, Pastor Keisha, I'm moving slowly around the room now, because of what people saying. Then get to the next person. Yeah, man. Yeah, I gotta hurry back because I got 2 revivals in a budget that I gotta do this. Da, da, da. So I'm like, okay. Now I'm moving even slower because I'm feeling like, why did I come here? I am totally out of place. This is out of my league. And I felt like I had nothing to contribute to the conversation. So they saying all this stuff. So this is the point that I want to make. So a defense mechanism, what I conjured up, and I thought it would make me fit in. I'm like, well, I ain't doing nothing. I don't have to do all that. I'm just doing what the Lord wants me to do. It don't really take. I ain't got to fly and do no youth revivals. I'm just satisfied with my little youth, and was lying.
Yeah.
Because I would have loved to got on a plane and do all that stuff. So my case in point with that story is comparison will cause you to shrink and literally dim your greatness.
And here's the thing,
you have your greatness.
You have done so many amazing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You sang, you have put on conferences, and the impacts that you had already made, you didn't even give credit to that because you didn't. And again,
I was in my head. I didn't
because you felt that wasn't enough to share and be okay with and celebrate in the room where it felt like what they were saying sounds so much bigger.
Right. It was bigger. Yeah.
Bigger. And it's like, okay, but impacts are impacts.
Right.
Great or small. It doesn't matter. If you are changing lives, whether you're in the hospital, whether you're in the church, whether you're in the boardroom, whether you on the streets, whether you're at the grocery store, life changing and adding the kingdom is kingdom work regardless. Right. So don't compare. Some were designed to do that on a platform with millions of people. Some were designed to do that in the back room with one-on-one counseling. But impacts are impacts. But again, it goes back. You got to see that self-worth and that value and the confidence in what you bring. And we've all been there because I mean, and sometimes we even when we have that, we don't even know how to celebrate what we already have. And some of us have some beautiful things to celebrate. Our marriages, our children.
Well, you can't see it.
Just the jobs we have. We are such a blessed people. But sometimes when we start comparing in this world that just keep becoming more and more greedy, that ain't nothing but greed at this point, y'all. I got to call it what it is. It ain't even, no, I'm aspiring to be better. It's just greedy.
Yeah.
We're just full of we're self-indulging. And I'm talking to all of us. And that's and then it puts us in a space that we are not content.
Yeah.
What she said, half of them was probably exaggerated.
Oh.
Yeah. And then and comparison will have sometimes us lying.
Yeah.
Because we'll get right in the room and say we part of something. Oh yeah, I live here, go here, drive here, work here. My husband do this. Because we don't think what we would go our answer or what we have to bring is enough. And we've all been guilty of it.
Right. But it was good what you said, and Elder Norm just pointed out, impact is impact.
Correct.
And that's a lot of time what we do.
Correct.
We don't see it. I don't care how many people tell you, because I don't know. You remember that story, right?
Oh yeah, because you came home.
Yeah.
I could tell because I'm thinking this was a great thing, and I'm excited to hear about it because we're
I
always
had my good suit, y'all, and good shoes. I represented well. I had on good shoes and the real leather wingtip.
Yeah. He had on this Neiman Marcus's. I'm just saying, we didn't shop at Neiman. I'm just saying, whatever. However, and I was excited to talk to him about it, and he was so deflated, so much so he sat on the side of the bed. I remember you sat on the side of the bed. On the ground of the bed, like on the side.
I was that low.
And it was like his whole posture. I mean, I think you, and I'm not trying to, whatever. I think you did everything but just shed a tear. And I think you got teary-eyed because you're like, I didn't feel good. And I'm thinking, well, did someone say something to you? Like, did you get in an argument? What happened? No. I thought this was a collaboration of men coming together to put on an event that's going to bless people and just be an encouragement. What happened? And then I was like, wow. And he was transparent to talk. And trust me, I've been in the very same space. It's probably several times.
It's like giving yourself, and I mean to cut y'all, but this is such a good conversation, y'all. It's really good. Y'all enjoying this? It was so hard. And the reason why I want to go here, because I feel like somebody's feeling this like 10 times X on the line, on the comments. It was hard for me to give myself permission to stand in my greatness.
Boom.
It was hard for me. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back of the thread. it was hard for me to give myself permission that it was okay to stand in my greatness. So I took the posture of shrinking, even though, like Val said, everything I'd done was impactful, and I had to release my mind. It was not a tick for tack, but it was a sharing of experiences and impact.
Yeah.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. So you just got to believe. Yeah. At my job, we write our own yearly evaluations. We have to write ourselves up. Example, if I'm a 2, I write as I'm a 3. Yeah. Yeah. And some people play it down because you're nervous to feel like
play it down.
Because I know, yep. And I know Tanya's out there and a couple other people. Well, I know those of us, I know corporate America, they do a lot of that with the eval scale. And most of us either wonder if they feel the same way, so you play it down or you're confident enough to know what you bring to the table. And it's okay. It's you can be confident in what God has put on you. Now, overly confident to the point of arrogance and cocky and pride, that's a whole nother topic. We're not speaking of that, but be confident in what God has called you and put on your life because, and we say God, because everything we possess, our skills, the attributes we bring and who we are, it's because God created us and that's what he put in us and he made us that way. And being confident that then you can stand in the room and say, hey, I know you probably, I
belong at the table.
Yeah. I'm gonna make my own. Now they're saying we making our own room, and so I get it.
That's
but then when you're confident, then it's okay. And if it's something you want to learn to grow in, then you ask the person, leverage somebody else's knowledge, leverage somebody else's level of skill. If you don't feel like you're there, it's okay. But don't make you compare.
Yeah, don't you become small.
And then you dim your light. And so I want to give this quick story, and I know we're for time. And so I think about my son, our son, Zion, our oldest, and his teacher called me one day because Zion, and she said, hey, this is a good call. And I got nervous because she called, I was at work. And she said, this is a great call. Don't worry. She said, I gave the class a challenge and they had to complete some assignment. And she said, Zion was the only one that completed it and got like all the answers right or did it to 100% correct. So in that, she wanted to reward him. Right. But she said, I noticed he almost to a point denied the gift or just kind of played himself down because his friends and some of the others didn't do so well. And so she said, and I noticed he'll do that often. So when he got home, I spoke to him about it. I said, Z, congrats on this. I go, but she's trying to give you this. But she said, you kind of was like, oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I said, where's that coming from? Why do you feel? I said, why? It's like you're playing yourself down. And that's my term. I said, you deserved it. You worked hard and they all had an equal starting, place. And he said, you're right, Mom. He said, it's just because it makes me awkward. Like I was the only one. And like, I don't want my friends to think I'm trying to be better than them. And then he went down that path of like, he didn't want people to think he's trying to be better and all this. And he is a very humble kid, number one. And I said, hey, you earned it. You were not being arrogant. There was no cockiness about how you responded, but you deserve that reward. I said, you go back and tell her you want it. I said, and don't dim yourself down because someone may perhaps want to compare to you and they didn't do the same thing you had they all had an equal opportunity to do the very same thing and chose not to. So in the other side, sometimes we are comparing from up down though, where we don't even give ourselves credit for what we do bring because we're hearing things and it's more about wanting to be validated by people and wanting people to be liked. And I understand, been there and done that. Some of us, we don't stand in our greatness because we want to be liked and loved. And if it feels like we're being indifferent and when your heart's pure, and I'm not talking again about there is a balance because if you're prideful about it, that's a whole different topic. But when your heart's intent and you have something amazing on the inside of you, and we all do, just be you.
Right.
Everybody's not going to appreciate it and or celebrate it, but that is not your problem. That means there's something going on within them. Same with us when we have something going on within us that we don't know how to just honor and celebrate the oil or what's on somebody else's life.
And that's so true. Y'all, we're going overtime, but if y'all okay, we're going to stretch it tonight.
Hey, Miss Carol Price.
To 8:30. If that's okay with you all, y'all gonna hang out with us till 8:30. Give us a thumbs up. If not, we're gonna click off and go home. We're gonna go to the kitchen. But if you're gonna stay and enjoy the conversation till about 8:30, because I think this is good and we're dropping some really good nuggets. Give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the conversation. You're gonna hang out with us a little longer. Come on, let's wake up, y'all. Get the thumbs going. I don't see none. Okay, we got one thumb, so that means I'm keeping going.
Just be you.
Just be you. So this is what, when you were saying that, and I thought this is so powerful, and I think this is so good for people to understand what we're saying, that to break that whole spirit of comparison is to know yourself.
Yes.
You got to know, be authentically true to yourself. Find out your quirks. How do they say your quirks? Your ins and outs, and be comfortable with them. If you laugh with a snort, then laugh with your snort. That's you. But for real, some people try to, conceal that. Like, if one thing you're going to get from me, and I tell my churches all the time, you're going to get a laugh.
Yeah.
That's me. You're going to get a laugh. I can be serious, but I can pop back. You're going to get a laugh. My whole family is like that. But we have to understand. You gonna read it?
Yeah. Now this is good too, Tanya. We have this coming up in one of the next ones, but this is a good segue into it. I know we're ending, but sometimes comparison is a learned behavior. Parents compare child against child. That's why sometimes we have to unlearn what we learned as children, and that is
bomb
huge.
moment. That is huge. That is huge. Absolutely. And it's funny because we recognize that with our boys, and we stopped doing that. We did, and we started sharing with our family because we started seeing them kind of act different. And you're absolutely right. They're still impressionable, and that comparison can be interwoven in them by things we speak on them because we're creative forces.
Why don't you act like your sister?
Yeah.
Why don't you act like your brother?
Your brother didn't do.
Your brother didn't do that.
And we say it not carelessly, just saying words. Because here's the thing that's so good, Tanya. Somebody said it to us.
Correct.
And we think that's why certain behaviors have to be broken, because we think that's the temperament of doing, and it's not. It's like things are passed down to pass down to pass down to pass down, but we break that cycle. But that's so good. But one, like you were saying, standing in that place of your greatness, we have to learn that once we understand who we are totally, God created and made us that way. And I'll never forget, and I think we're going to end with this because we don't want to exhaust. We want y'all to come back next week. I'll never forget when I was and y'all, I don't mind being comparison, being transparent and vulnerable on this platform because we want to connect with people. Thanks, Dion. But I remember when I first started preaching, and the church where I was at, we had a lot of, and y'all might not know, but they're called hoopers, master hoopers. And what that means, it's a cultural thing in Black communities, in African-American churches, where we kind of sing out our words, and that's the way we minister. So it's called hooping, or crooning is what it's actually called. And believe it or not, they actually had a class, but that's a whole different taping.
You should demonstrate. You think they know?
Well, for those that don't know, it's when you sing out your words, and it's a cultural thing. Lord, we thank you and we bless your name.
You gotta take the deep
for you've been good to us, and we give you all the praise. And and they would sing out their songs and different things like that. So we had master hoopers at our church. I was a young minister. I was up and coming, and I hadn't quite developed my hoop, y'all. It was like that part of Simba in The Lion King when he was faced with what they weren't coyotes. What were those things? Hyenas. And y'all remember that scene?
You say? Hyenas.
It's hyenas.
Hyenas.
What is a hyena?
Oh my God.
Is it a hyena?
Did you put a hyena?
What is it? A hyena? What is it?
It's one of the words. Certain letters are silent, I believe. Hyena. Anyway, y'all get it. But y'all, it's like
one of those words.
I'm like, were you speaking?
So anyway, it was in that particular scene. He roars, and then the hyenas, whatever they were, the enemies.
There you go.
They begin to laugh at him, and they were like, "That's all you got." And that's where I felt like I didn't quite have that. So what I did, I literally went and studied. For those that grew up in a Baptist African American culture. Y'all know
Mhm.
one of the master hoopers, if you don't know, is Jasper Williams. And if you don't know, look him up. I mean, this man can go. And he would do this stuff. So I would start looking at tapes like T.D. Jakes and all those kind of people to master my hoop, because I felt like that's what was doing. And this is what we talk about, y'all, comparison. Because I felt like that's the standard that was set, because I wanted the church to respond to me in a certain way. I wanted them to stand up and clap for me. I wanted them to stand up and run around and shout and all that stuff, because it proved to me, here's that big word again, it validated my worth.
Right.
It made me to feel like I was worth, or I measured up to the standard that I had set, because I compared myself. Nobody told me that I had to do that. Nobody told me, Dre, you need to hoop. Nobody said that, but I'll never forget this. And so I was going through all the regimen of learning that and doing that stuff. And I remember the Holy Spirit stopped me with a screeching halt. He said, if you're not authentically who I created you to be, the anointing that I have reserved and preserved for your life cannot operate at full capacity.
Yeah.
And it silenced me. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty deep. I didn't understand that. So we got to understand, guys, and we're going to close with this. I'm like, allow Val to say the closing. We have to not compare, but we just can't say not compare. But we know this tonight. The comparison killer is being authentically true to yourself. Who are you?
Know who you are.
Who
know
are you? What are you
self-worth.
made of? What are you comfortable with yourself? Stop deflecting and shrinking because you feel you don't measure up. Who told you that? Where did it come from? Where did you get it from? If nobody ever tells you you're beautiful, pretty, and all that kind of stuff, can you find that by looking in the mirror yourself? You follow what I'm saying? Is that serious? Because once you become comfortable in that aspect, you begin to move and progress forward in those opportunities and avenues that God has afforded you to walk in. God has opened big doors for some of us.
Yes.
God has opened big doors for some of us. And the only way, stop rebuking the devil, because it ain't him. It's not the devil. It's us, because we have come to the place that we compared and backed up so much to we silent, we've shrunk, and then now that position, that posture has become our normality. Yeah. Is that a word? I'm gonna say that. It's our norm. It's our norm.
It works. And it's a journey, you all. We all have, and we can talk for hours on this topic. And we're gonna continue over the next couple of weeks, because we want to make sure we're bringing people to now what, you know what I mean, and follow up. We don't want to just stay stuck on identifying what issues and things that are just the challenges that we're all facing, but what can we do about it? And one, he already said it, just knowing who you are, understanding your self-worth, know that you were created for something special. If you don't know, a good place to start is looking in the Word of God. He talks about how we're his masterpiece. We're fearfully, wonderfully made. We're his called. We're righteous seed. So there's so many things that can just validate you. Don't look for social media and people to validate you, because I'm going to tell you, they're here today, gone tomorrow. And if you keep looking for that, there may be a day you just aren't getting it. And then that should not be the measurement of your worth and who you are. Great that you're watching and seeing things on social media, but everything you see, trust me, is not it's a distorted reality in a lot of situations. I used that term earlier. It really is. So don't feel then, because then you go out trying to measure up and fix it and changing, which is why we have, I'm not trying to knock people that are wanting, to change certain parts of their bodies because of health reasons. But if it's just because you just don't feel great, but why? Like, what did you see that's called? And you're on this quest. And then once you start, you keep at it, and you're never satisfied. Because here's the thing, it's like a trend, big breasts. Oh, is that terrible to say right now? Could be a thing that's attractive for men today, but then it's something long hair tomorrow. So it's constant, because we're evolving in who we are. So things that may look great today, and Pastor Dre and I used to joke, because he used to say how light-skinned people used to be in style. And he's like, y'all ain't in style anymore, and I was like, I'm okay with it. I just know
Angel still on here.
Angel, do you understand this man telling us light-skinned women are? I said
light-skinned people,
light-skinned.
It's light-skinned.
Light-skinned.
Light-skinned. It's not skinned.
Skinned. That's like big boned.
Yeah, it's.
What is big boned? How do you?
No, it's light-skinned.
Okay, light-skinned people, yellow, red, whatever they call, aren't in anymore. I said, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm confident in what the Lord has called me, and I'm okay with however the world's. That is not my concern. Thank God for that. But I'm like, well, I'm not looking for anyone, so I'm like, I'm fine. I'm in. So, but we joke about those things. My point is, we try to change so much about even our own selves because we're trying to keep with trends, and it's just that it's a trend. Right. It's like, no, trend. What do you just be authentically who God created you? He didn't make a mistake when he created you. He knew exactly how to design you. He didn't need help. He doesn't need help. You don't have to manufacture or try to unmanufacture yourselves and try to manipulate anything, because it's only going to create discontentment, because you won't find that true joy and happiness there. It comes from within. And I know that sounds cliche, but find that within. And you'll know how to deal through moments of comparison, because it'll arise and you'll feel some type of way, but go back and say, why am I responding that way? Why is that bothering me?
Where's it coming from?
Why all of a sudden I don't like my house or my car or my kids or my husband or my wife? What are you seeing? You know, and usually it's not from a healthy view. So I'll be honest. So be careful of that. But no, we appreciate you all. Hopefully that brings light in this time. Anything else on comparison? I had a question that's off topic.
No, we're good. Well, go ahead, shoot, because everybody said we can still hang out a little longer. So yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
Well,
what's up with y'all? We're pronunciation that just compare. I know hyenas.
I don't know.
Listen,
I don't know what's up with that. It's so funny, y'all. We've made a list of words that we're retiring because we're so sick of them.
What are some of those words?
And I think people have overused them. For example, trajectory. We hear that too much. And every time I see it, I'll be watching TV. I'm like, Val, there's their word again. I'm so sick of that trajectory. I can't think of them now, but we had a whole bunch of them. I'm like,
yeah. What are some words that you all hear like that's trending that you're like, okay, we are doing way too much with this word? There's a couple of them out there.
What's the
trajectory? What else do you? Oh, we didn't got.
Yeah, I don't. So that means we can't think of it. We're gonna have to bring that list next time. But thank you guys for joining with us tonight. This was true. We hope that you have found value in this. No. And now what we need you all to do, this is what we need you all to do, because we need your help. If you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, we need you to subscribe. That helps us out. And also click that like, that's the thumbs up. So you're going to subscribe, you're going to like, and then you're going to click the bell
there we go.
Icon.
Yes, Rhonda, unprecedented.
What's it? Yeah. Oh, that's definitely one. In piggyback.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna.
Okay, Quisha said wake. Yeah, time period. Yeah, and then with the one with the T on it, narcissist.
Oh yeah, now I'm sick of that one too. Yeah,
we woke. Yeah. What was the one you just said?
Narcissistic behavior. Oh, we don't want that one.
What's the one you just said?
I forgot.
Oh Lord,
I forgot.
Literally.
Oh yeah, literally is one. Yeah. And it is a literally. What is the proper pronunciation? Is it literally or literally?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's
another show, y'all. We're gonna do pronunciation of the word literally.
So listen, let's just say some good. In this time, we did want to continue with this podcast. I know some people weren't sure we were going to do it based on the hurricane. Trust God. God's got us. We're gonna be all right. What else you got to say about the hurricane?
Amen.
Did you eat all the snacks yet?
No, I didn't eat the snacks. I didn't want to put that on because now it timestamps our show. But anywho, she's still in training, y'all.
What do you? Oh, what?
Because you say the hurricane, so now our show is.
I didn't say which one. There's been quite a few.
Well, we don't want no more. I don't want you to prophesy no more hurricane.
No, I'm saying
you still don't know which one. But see, now when people listen to this, they're going to know that that was during the time of the hurricane. So if we
isn't that a good thing?
No, because if we want to recycle it,
it won't sound fresh and new.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, okay, got
But
it.
I still
I'm
love
learning.
you. I still love you with the love of the Lord. That's one too.
Listen, y'all,
Loving
I
people
forgot
with the love
to
of the Lord.
I forgot to
Guys, we
lotion my elbow.
really
I didn't want it to show. Did it show?
okay. Y'all lift up Valerie. She's got ashy elbows, but we appreciate y'all so
What's
much
something
for
you don't
tuning
like
in
that kind of noise
to our
like,
show.
as a-
We're over
you've had
time.
to
We
date
have
somebody?
to go.
What's one
And
like Leonard Pope does not like chip toenail polish?
y'all, Val is still trying to keep the show, and I'm trying to end the show. So there is a conflict here. So y'all gonna have to pray for us because I'm trying to
just
end the show,
teasing.
and she keeps saying stuff.
Thank you, Miss Carol. We
Thank you
definitely
so
will stay
much.
safe. Keep us in
Thank
prayer.
you, Tanya, for hanging out with us. Y'all don't forget as well, drop in the
You told me to
comments
end
some
the
of
show.
this. I'm ending. This is my ending roundabout. Drop in the comments too some show ideas that you might have because we want to serve you in greater capacity. So some things that you might want to hear about, and we'll compile those together. And again, before I click off, I'm getting ready to go off. So don't forget to go to our new website and go ahead and register that you will receive our newsletter and all that kind of stuff in your email, and we'll send stuff out to you. So go right over there. That's TCL Podcast,
Clarity Lounge
the Clarity
Podcast.
Lounge Podcast, and you'll see our bright little faces over there, and you can go ahead and register to be our friends.
Thank you, Elder Norma.
Thank you, Elder
Great team.
Norma. Thank you, Miss Vicky. Thank you, Mama Neil, Tanya Bell, Rhonda. Oh, that's Rhonda. Hey, Rhonda. That Rhonda. I don't think it was the other
You know
Rhonda too.
what?
All right, y'all, because I'm getting hood now. So let me go ahead and click off. Appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a great evening. You're in our prayers. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, Miss Lisa. God bless you, Dion.
Take
All
care.
those that have been and sat in our presence tonight, remember not to compare yourself, and we'll hope to see you next week at the same time, 7 o'clock. Invite a friend, tell them what's going on, and go ahead and etch Monday nights in your calendar. We're not going to compare it, but we're going to be consistent, so you can count on us to be here on those times. All right.
Thank you all. That was fun.
Y'all have a good one, and
Take
we'll see y'all
care.
next time.
Bye, everyone.